Mom and Dad!
Hello!
Mom and Dad!
Hi! I'm sorry. Am I actually allowed to be on your podcast?
Well, luckily this is the spin-off, so anyone can.
Anyone! That's how you made it.
I'm feeling
You got what on the Anybody Can Get In podcast. Congratulations.
I just want to say every time I see an announcement of who's going to be on your podcast, I go, oh, okay, they're allowed. It's their turn now, and I really want to make a snarky post.
I really want to thank you, Matt, for turning this into my life.
No, I'm so glad we're recording right now, so I can send this to you like.
I don't know what the written
Wait, I
want to put it.
I just want to point out that you are significantly more well dressed for this than we are.
Well, I'm about to play jazz, that's why.
What?
I'm about to play some jazz music, so don't you worry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You like some jazz?
I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah. How are you guys?
How are you?
I am thriving and surviving, you know?
You've been keeping busy. You've been doing the Zoom movies and Zoom plays.
Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah.
Excellent.
But I must say, you guys are keeping busy with your singing. I am loving what I'm singing right now. Andrew, I don't expect you to be a singer, but you've been doing...
Well, luckily, I'm not. So,
Be great.
so I'm living up to everybody's expectations.
Hey, well, you know what? I give you an A for bravery, I must say.
Thank you. Well,
Yeah.
it's funny because it's one of those things that I haven't done very much of since I came to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in Florida, you did musicals because that's the only theater that's in Florida for the most part is musicals. So I did that, but once I came here, I've studied maybe with two people for about 10 minutes each. And
that's all you need.
it shows.
Well, and then he deals with me.
Yeah.
I go, open. No.
Yeah. So the only reason I'm doing it is because of the fact that
I started doing it.
she was like, come on, you want to do this too, don't you? And
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
I'm like, fine. Okay. So, yeah.
That's great. So I think this pandemic is the ultimate relationship test, which is why I had my mom and dad on it. How's it been?
We're doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a cat to help. Yeah.
So, which is great because now I don't have to talk to her. She just basically plays with the cat and
I need a lot of attention.
ignores me.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
it's the perfect thing. But
yeah.
we had ended up getting a cat like right as the lockdown was happening.
Mhm.
Okay.
Because the catcade down on Belmont was looking for foster families for all of their cats as the lockdown was coming.
The reason I'm not looking at you is because I am playing with said cat. Otherwise,
That's okay. I'm currently looking at Air.
There you go.
Yeah.
not as fun as a cat.
But yeah,
No.
we were going to foster the cat, and about 10 minutes after it arrived in the house, we
failed.
We failed, and decided to adopt the cat.
Yeah.
So, no, it's been very interesting.
It hasn't been that different
Mm-hmm.
because Andrew does a lot of work from home as it is.
Yeah.
He alternates or has been alternating writing and recording audiobooks
Oh, cool.
when he has an audiobook to record. So he's been working. And in the beginning, I was going, pay attention to me. Hello, play with me. I was being a kitten.
Then I got the cat.
And then we got the kitten, and the kitten and I were able to go off and be together when Andrew was working, and then he'd come and say, okay, together time.
The main difference is that now I'm in the house when I'm working, as opposed to, I have to go and do this thing at the med school or with the police department or any of this other stuff. it's now, well, I need to take, 4 or 5 hours to write, or I've got to get these chapters done. So but for the most part, after that first initial sort of getting used to the fact that we're in the house together, but not necessarily spending all of the time together,
Right.
Mhm.
it's been fine.
Yeah, we've been good.
Yeah.
It's great. It's funny because my parents, my dad's in his room for half the time, and then my mom is outside with the dogs,
Sure.
and so they don't see each other. But they see each other. But they don't have like an actual conversation till 4 o'clock in the afternoon, like real life.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
It's like
Right.
the weirdest mirror in the world.
It's
Yeah.
trying to keep I was concerned about the same thing when my father retired. Because all of a sudden, because my father was a workaholic, so my father would be gone like all day working, and then come home in the evening, and they'd talk, and then my mother would like go shopping on the weekends, and so they would see each other and then all of a sudden it's like, Dad's going to be home how much? And my father took up cycling.
Oh.
So my father goes to like cycles for like 10, 15 miles and then like comes back. And so it's like they see each other about the same amount of time.
When my dad was in between jobs a couple of years ago, it was in the summer. And so he would just take us to Six Flags. But, hey, what do you want to do today, Dad? Oh, what's Six Flags? Oh, okay, yeah, sure. But we did it yesterday, but it's right down the street. Why not?
That sounds great.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
So yeah, Andrew, you were in rehearsals. You guys were directing a show. You were directing a show.
We were supposed to start on the 17th
Of March.
Okay.
That was supposed to be our first rehearsal for Eclectic's next show, and we canceled that. We decided we were going to cancel that probably 2 days before it came obvious that we were going to have to.
Yeah. We were sending out emails saying it's okay, we're still moving forward, everything's great, blah blah blue, la la la.
Yeah.
And then we were like, there's no way. It's
well,
not gonna happen.
it ended up that the church was still going to allow outside groups to come in, but they were not going to come in and clean up between the groups. So the groups were going to be responsible for it, which I got. But I'm like, I can't.
We can't.
We can't guarantee that we're
Yeah.
going to be able to like clean everything before and after. So we just decided to stop. And then like the next day, the church canceled all.
The church closed.
The church closed down.
Yeah.
And then the next day was when they announced the stay at home. So we've been postponing this show because we didn't want to cancel it.
Right.
Yeah.
We'd already got everybody together, and we're like, well, we don't know how. I mean, at first it was going to be, it's only going to be for 2 weeks till the end of March. And then it was like, okay, then it's the end of April.
So we're fine. So we did a virtual read through of the show.
Yeah, we did. We had like a virtual rehearsal on April 1st.
Because we're like, we're great. We're just gonna open in June.
It'll be fine. But we did. We got on board with we talked to the Athenaeum, and they were like, yeah, if you want to try to do this in June, we can give you dates in one of the spaces for that. So we're like, great, okay. And then it became very obvious that we were not. Well, we did a poll, and we would lose too many of the designers and the cast members if we tried to do it in summer. But if we replaced the show in the fall, that would kick off our next season, everybody could pretty much stay with it. So then we postponed it to September, October.
That's good.
So we told everybody they were going to be there in summer. Then we told everybody they're going to be there in the fall. And with the way things have been going, I just had to send out another email to everybody saying it looks like if we do anything in the fall, it's going to have to be virtual. Because none of us at this point think that Chicago is going to open up fast enough to make live theater doable.
Except my boss.
Well, that's a salon.
No, I know.
Slightly different.
Don't worry, you'll be good to go by the end of the week. So.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I've been scheduling appointments for haircuts and everything for June 1st.
And it's like
and we've been in the salon since May.
Yeah.
Cleaning, sanitizing, rescheduling appointments, getting everything ready.
Basically ignoring the fact the mayor's saying
Yeah.
no.
And finally today, he says to me, look, I don't want you calling anybody and making any more appointments because we really don't know when we're going to be able to open. And I'm like, finally, dude, I've been saying this for weeks.
But I just sent that email out a couple of days ago that we need to look into doing something online if we're going to do anything.
Yeah. Would it be we mean online, like you're going to record it from the theater with just no audience, or just a reading?
Well, that all depends.
We don't know
because if we can have groups, if by mid-September when we should be opening this, if we can have groups of 10 plus gather in one place, then I can get the cast together and maybe we can do something like that.
Yeah.
And then put up a video on it and basically sell admission to a time sensitive link. Yeah. But if we can't do that, the one thing that in fact, the thing that I'm the reason that I can't ramble on like I usually do is because at 7:00 tonight, I am. Thank you. I'm actually having another Zoom meeting about talking to somebody who understands the technology to be able to live edit Zoom presentations so that you can have transitions and where, and people can be placed where they need to be so that they can actually interact with each other instead of just the camera and stuff like. And we're planning on trying to trot out a production in the summer to basically try that out.
Yeah. That's great.
And it's gonna be a kids show, basically, because it's short.
We think most likely. We don't know.
That's kind of the plan right now.
That's what's happening inside his brain. It still needs to be fully fleshed out.
And so much is happening inside that brain as it is. So
it is. And now I've got all these damn songs on top of it. So
yeah.
So it's like every time you're writing, you just go. Da, 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 da.
The funny thing is, she's got like days and days of songs picked out. I look at we actually have a whiteboard up there with what each day is supposed to be, and I just sort of like wander over to it like a couple of minutes before we're supposed to start. I look at what it is, and I'm going, all right, you figure out, and I just go through YouTube and I start looking up songs that I might be able to do. Like the one that we just did, which was songs about a broken heart. I literally went to Google and went, Broadway songs about a broken heart, and got a list. And I went, how many of these do I know?
Yeah.
That's me with this podcast. It's like I choose a guest probably at like 11 a.m. the day of.
Thanks. That makes us feel good.
Oh, no. Before.
Now I feel even worse.
Before, when I started, when I started, it was like 11 o'clock. I'm like, all right, who wants to do this?
Did you?
I asked him last night. To be fair,
I know you did.
I know because it was actually while we were working on our songs.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
She's sitting there figuring it out, going like, oh. I saw that you had sent me a message, and it took me a while, and then I got to it, and I looked at when it was like, you want to do it tonight, tomorrow before 10, or after 5? And I went, well, tonight's not happening.
I was torturing myself.
That's a bad idea.
Trying to figure out a song. Practicing my song.
I don't talk to anybody before noon for everyone's safety. So let's do...
But aren't you glad you guys are on it at the end of the run? Because since the last episode's airing this Friday, aren't you glad you're on before it's over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be asked.
Did you ever think that maybe this attitude is why he didn't ask you on to begin with?
Look, you were on the list. It's a long...
You don't know me. I'm really very sweet and kind and nice.
You so are. I think we should probably clarify, you really are not my parents. But you play them. I think
your parents would be very happy to know that.
Especially since you mentioned your mom and dad earlier.
Yeah, I know. My parents are gonna listen to this and like, wait, they're not talking to us. What does he mean, mom and dad? We did Father of the Bride, 2017. That long ago.
We were going to say 20 years ago.
It feels like 27. That was 2017. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Jessica, did I tell you the story of, so I didn't know who so when we started, we had this question of where my character got the height from, because you weren't at the first rehearsal.
Right.
And so, and I thought, and Andrew's pretty tall, but I'm taller than him. So the whole cast were like, we haven't met you yet. So, and I looked you up on Facebook, Jessica Fisher, and I found a Jessica Fisher from Chicago. That wasn't you. I was like, oh, she's pretty tall from like the photos. Like, this is great. And then the next day is rehearsal, and then you walk in. I'm like,
5'0" person walks in.
I'm like, oh, that's my mom. That's my mom. Okay, we're just not gonna talk about it.
Generation.
Yeah. Your grandparents were very tall.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you guys had the backstory.
Yes, the backstory that I just came up with.
Yes, Anne.
About 5 seconds ago. Yes.
That was so much fun. That was a very fun show to do.
It really was.
That was one of the largest theaters I'd worked in a very long time.
I did not want to do it. I don't know if you know that. I don't know if I should say that.
No, I did not know that.
No, right now. You just did.
I was dead set against doing it. And Andrew said, it'll be fun. We'll get to spend more time with David. We'll get to play. And I was like, no, I don't want to be a mom. It was so much fun.
To be fair, Naperville's pretty far.
Yes.
We did it in Naperville.
What basically sealed it was that David promised to drive us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's true. Dave, thank you, David, for driving them.
For every rehearsal. That was, and we hadn't done a show together in a very long time.
Yes.
So it was, it was fun. I definitely hadn't done a show like that in a very long time. Just a good old-fashioned straight up comedy, which was a lot of fun to do.
And we hadn't played a married couple since our first show together.
And and
it was not the same type of married couple.
No, it was very nice to play a happy married couple,
a married
where
couple
one
that
wasn't trying to kill the other.
Mm-hmm.
But I went from doing Wait Until Dark and playing Policeman 1. So it was very nice to do something a little bit more.
We had lines?
The only line I remember was, okay, lady, let's get out of here. And the first time I did it in a Minnesota accent. I was watching Fargo at the time. I was like, okay, lady, let's get out of here now.
You did something.
That was a choice.
You did something during rehearsal
that we still
talk about, that we love, and we're not making fun of you.
Go for it.
It was just something very silly that you did.
There was the one line, and for the longest time I thought it was a choice, and then I found out that you were just doing it. You thought that's for whatever reason the way it was.
Do you know what we're gonna say?
I think I remember. Oh, what was the word?
You were saying what's the problem? Do you think they're gonna end up in the gutter?
The gutter.
And you had this perfectly normal, just your own speech the entire way through. And then all of a sudden, gada!
It was just the one word.
And the first time I heard it,
nobody's going to end up in the gutter, Mom.
I almost lost it because I was like, why did he choose to say it like that all of a sudden? Like all of a sudden he's like from the Bowery. What happened? And so I was like, okay, that was kind of funny. And then it just kept happening. Just that only line, and I'm like, why does he keep doing that? And there was one day when I looked, because I had the line right after you. It was like, who said anything about the gutter? And one day I just went, who said anything about the gutter?
I think we all just lost it.
And finally, I was like, okay, this is cool. Then you're like, what? That's just the way you say it, right? I'm like, no!
That's how you talk in the 30s. The gutter.
Yes, that's it. That's
the gutter, see?
That's 30s speak.
I'm glad no one said anything during that time. No.
We thought, I swear I thought that you had just decided to do it to be funny. And then I think everybody thought that, and that sooner or later, if we just ignored it, you'd stop.
No.
But
I like to beat a dead horse, apparently, with my bits, apparently.
I just loved it. I was just like, the very first time on the way back, I'm like, why did he say gutta?
Well, we've had so many times where we just broke down.
Oh.
Never.
Well, what you messed up the name during like a show once. You remember that, Jessica?
I messed up everything all the time. I don't know what you're talking about.
I can't remember if I can't remember if I screwed it up in that one too, but I do remember that many years ago when I was playing Bob Cratchit in Christmas Carol, I called my wife the wrong name.
Oh, there you go.
Which is always a good thing. And I didn't even realize I'd done it till after the show. And she comes back and goes, "What's my name?"
In Murder in Green Meadows, you were going into a show where your wife was named Jane and I was named Joan, and you called me Jane once.
I remember very little from that show.
Except all the mistakes I made.
No, that was a lot of fun. That show was a lot of fun. Yeah. I have to admit, it was. I just remember walking onto the stage finally
as
gorgeous. They were building the set, and I went,
"Where did this come from?"
Big, my God!
Yeah, and we were mic'd, and it was a huge cast. Like, never have I performed in a theater that big before.
Oh, it was great.
And then there was the one show I showed up before, with 10 minutes before I had to go on.
Yes.
That was...
This is a quarantine podcast and really more of a, how did Matt screw up?
Why did Matt get casted was the real question.
Did you just say casted?
Well, how did Matt get his college degree was the next question.
Okay.
That's Columbia.
Yeah, well.
88% acceptance rate, 41% graduation rate.
And that hasn't changed since my time of college years.
Oh, really?
I go to Columbia.
Did you really?
No, I did not.
You're not. Sorry.
You're not.
But it was basically, if anybody wanted their theater degree, they knew they could go to Columbia.
Yeah. Essentially, that's the thing.
I like the fact that we're trash.
No offense to Columbia.
I don't think you can say no offense to Columbia.
No, here's the thing.
I really don't think you could have to say
I don't have my degree yet, so it's okay.
You don't have the ability to get in anywhere else. At least you can always go to Columbia. I don't think you can then follow up with, but I mean that in the nicest way.
Can we say, who's your Steven? Cut that out. You know what? You don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I know what you're talking about. Hi, Steven.
So on my favorite murder.
No.
Oh.
They have their sound editor is Steven.
Okay.
So all the time you hear them go, "Steven, cut that."
Oh.
I did for a project. I did a parody of This American Life. So I was doing my Ira Glass impression. I was like, okay, so let me talk like this a lot. And then my joke was, if I'm a cup of tea away for having my own NPR program or something.
Yeah.
It was, and the teacher was like, "That's really good. You should be a radio major." And I'm like, I was a radio major for 30 seconds my freshman year.
And then you realize no one listened to the radio anymore.
Well, then I was like, I don't have a face for radio. I have a face for a podcast.
Good night, folks.
Good night. I'll see you in the gutter.
That can be, you know what?
That's the name of your next podcast.
That'll be the name of your next podcast. Scenes from the Gutter.
Scenes from the Gutter.
Guttah.
Gutter. Moving on. So we are just days away from entering this new phase for Illinois, which is phase 3.
Yeah.
And this is really interesting debate of, is it too soon or we have to do it? And where do you guys stand on phase 3? Are we ready at all?
We've decided that we want to be hermits and never leave the house again.
Because you'll answer it nicer than me.
No, I mean that's what I'm saying. We would like to stay home forever. Okay, here you go.
I think it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
I think it's significantly too early. we still don't have any concept of whether or not having gotten through COVID grants you immunity to it. We've actually been discovering that people can have it reemerge after having it. We're nowhere near any kind of vaccine. The treatments aren't treatment, and we're still rising. Cases are still going up. We're not over the hump. We're not coming down on the other end. Fauci's already talking about the fact that the second wave is on its way. Mm-hmm. We see evidence over and over and over again from these states that have opened up early that they're shutting everything down again because people are idiots and simply just flock into a place completely unrestricted.
Just the fact that for our salon to open, we have to go over a 20-page packet about cleaning and sanitation in between each client. We can only have 2 stylists working at a time because we have a front workshop and a back workshop, and they can only be 1 in each workshop. We have to wear jumpsuits that we change into when we get to the salon. We have to have gloves, masks medically taped to our faces, and a shield at all times. All of our, not just, the scissors and stuff need to be sterilized at all times. We need to keep the towels and the robes in sterilized bags for each client. It's clearly not safe for people to be out if we have to take so many safety precautions.
Add to that, people already, how many people do you see?
Oh, and we have to wear booties on our shoes.
Yeah. And how many people do you see sitting there yammering about the fact that, I want everything open, but I don't want to have to wear a mask?
Right.
Yeah. And
I have to take the temperature of every person who walks into the salon. And if they have a fever, I have to send them home.
Now, at the same time, I understand that people are going, we have to do something because the economy, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. The problem with that is that misses the point, in my opinion. It misses, the point isn't that the economy is going to collapse if we don't open it back up and people go back to work. The point is we do not have a national response to a national emergency. We're relying on each individual state to make up its own mind. And all you have to do is look at how completely and utterly screwed up other laws are, allowing the states to make that decision, that this is something that is too big for a state government to handle. Because, I was talking to some people the other day, and it's like, we're in Illinois, which I believe has been one of the smarter and more well-run responses to this entire thing. Pritzker and Lightfoot have been very, very evidence-based and have been upfront about not knowing what's going on, but they're always erring on the side of caution. Illinois is surrounded by Wisconsin, that basically just went, let's go!
No regulations at all, just go for it.
Indiana, which is pretty much the same, and these other states that are way more willing to just, roll the dice and run with it. And you're going to have people from those states crossing the border. Or you're going to have people from Illinois that are sick of being indoors running up to water parks in Wisconsin and then coming back. And it's like, you can't. So we're in a position where, had we had a federal response to this that was in any way competent and was doing the things that other countries that have been much better, handling this much better, have done, like, paying people to stay home.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's like what I would love to see the whole country in that Italy state of mind, like the 49-day all lockdown.
yeah.
Things could have changed.
I just would like to see, I would just like to see the government go, look, the economy will be there when we come back.
Yeah.
We're just going to take a few months off. We have more than enough money in this country to take money and give people money every month to get them through, to subsidize businesses, or just say, hey, guess what? For 6 months, no businesses owe rent. No people owe rent. Nobody owes the mortgage. The banks don't have to pay any bills. Nobody's got to do anything. We're going to take a whole crap ton of money that we just have lying around that we're wasting on giving to people to build planes the Pentagon doesn't need or want. And we're going to take that money and we're going to basically subsidize the country for 6 months so that nobody's going to go hungry. Nobody's going to, you'll still pay for food and all that other stuff, but we'll be giving you, Canada's giving people like over $2,000 a month. Yeah. Canada. And America says, here's $1,200.
Good luck.
And one time. And most of that's going to go to people who already make, over $300,000 a year. So rock on. So no, we're nowhere near ready to, we're nowhere near ready to open up, but I don't blame people for wanting to do it because they're getting freaked out. The problem is they're putting their anger at the wrong people.
Yeah.
They're putting their anger at people who are literally trying to keep us from dying.
Yeah.
As opposed to turning around and being pissed off at the people who are going, no, you don't get any money. Mm-hmm. We're not going to help you. We're going to help Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
Yeah. It's just like, no one's coming together. And that's kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah.
You either don't believe in this thing or you want to stay in for the rest of your life. But yet I almost think there's a group of people in the middle. I think that's where that's unfortunately where I'm stuck at. Like, I wouldn't mind having some things open up. I'm going to get a haircut really soon, but also I'll stay in my house for the rest of my life if I have to. Right.
Well,
there's no happy medium.
Well, the problem is that every single thing that is floated there has is a fight.
Yeah. Even
things that should be the easy, the whole idea of doing the lockdown to begin with.
Yeah.
We had to go through BS about whether or not that was even going to happen. So we're far behind. We didn't lock down early enough. And now people are like, okay, look, we'll open up, but you got to wear a mask. I refuse. Mm-hmm. And it's like, look, there has to be a give and take. You can't get everything you want.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Who knows?
This particular subject I could rant on for at least 3 hours.
Yeah.
So, but we're not ready.
No.
What you said that you're in between your feelings?
Well, because as someone who still goes to work, I'm exposed all the time.
Oh, what do you do again?
I work as a Walgreens.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so I'm wearing a mask, but there's no distancing at all between. Like, I'm exposed all the time.
Which far-flung corner?
Grace Lake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grace Lake. You're in a different region.
Well, the cases have dipped a little bit.
Yeah.
So
but this is the thing that I don't get about that, because people have made that argument before that, well, if you live in a place where there's a smaller population and they're blah, 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 I'm like, you get 50 people in a bar in Grays Lake or you get 50 people in a bar in Chicago, it doesn't matter. Once you've joined them all together in an enclosed space, the population density then doesn't matter. The population density only matters in that it's easier to be socially distant.
And the hospitals are still full.
Yeah.
So
you're never going to get social distancing with kids.
No.
Maybe high schoolers you can make that happen, but you've got they do stuff with kindergartners. You can't keep kindergartners away from each other.
No.
Well, have you seen some of the new CDC guidelines for opening schools in the fall?
Yeah.
They're difficult.
How?
I have 40 children in a classroom, and I have to keep them 6 feet apart from each other. Of course, every class will now be held in the auditorium.
Right.
Or the gym.
And the kindergartners have to keep a mask on their face.
They can't keep their
Good
pants.
luck.
Right.
Good luck. How do you do that?
I know.
I'm like, look, just cancel everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, if we just canceled everything until June of 2021, we'd be okay.
That's too long for some people.
I mean, yes,
Yes,
it is absolutely.
I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't mean like cancel as in nothing ever happens.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, I like the phased in
Yes.
plan that they have here in Illinois. I just think that there needs to be longer in between phases.
Yeah.
If they want to start playing around with phase 3 in middle of
Excuse
June
me.
to late June, that's fine. But then we shouldn't even think about moving into phase 4 until after the new year.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very interesting.
Well, and also,
I'm very glad we live in a garden apartment.
well, for the theater and music industry
Oh,
too, it's
God.
just, I mean,
How do you do it?
well,
like-
I'll tell you, everybody's doing this.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was listening to Steppenwolf and they were thinking about, audience members might have to have masks on, and their 500 seat theater might have to be 100 and just socially distant apart, and that's going to probably be the future for
Well,
now.
what performers?
Well,
Are the performers going to be wearing masks?
Probably
well,
not.
they've got you haven't seen the guidelines. The guidelines for like opening up theaters, everything back. They want everybody's calls to be staggered so
Right.
that everybody can be 6 feet apart
Right.
backstage, and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, nobody who's ever done theater has written this.
Yeah.
And while that may work, that may be able to work for Steppenwolf, where, let's face it, people are going to show up and see a Steppenwolf show regardless.
Yeah.
Because it's Steppenwolf.
How do you go
And
to a
you've got a-
storefront theater?
And you've got a 500 seat house.
Yeah.
If you're a theater company that operates out of, say, the Athenaeum, where the biggest seating is like 90 seats, and you have to take out a third to a half of those seats, and let's face it, so now you're down to 45 seats. You're not going to sell 45 seats to every show, so you're looking at maybe selling 20 seats a show if you're lucky, if people aren't too scared to come out anyway, because you're not Steppenwolf.
Right.
That's you're never going to be no theater company under maybe like Timeline's level is going to be able to survive doing a show like that. They're going to lose. I mean, we lose money anyway, but they're going to lose so much money.
Mm-hmm.
There's no chance of being able to stay afloat under stuff like that, which is why you're going to see. I think you're going to see a lot more of this.
Yeah.
Of people trying to do shows and online. I've already seen. I looked at one thing on Facebook. I looked at one thing that was an ad for some kind of live streaming editing thing, and now my feed is nothing but all these brand new software packages and apps and Kickstarter things for technology to help you be able to do all that stuff online. And I think there's going to be a certain level of theater where that's where it shifts to, because they can't afford to lose 2/3 of their seating,
Yeah. It's who knows? Hey, there could be a second season of this, maybe, if we're still here. So there might be a plus to all this. I keep telling people.
Hey, look, I'm telling you, we're 2/3 of the way through finishing up the scripts for the 3rd season of Throwing Shade.
Oh, look, a plug for our podcast.
I was gonna say, do you want to plug in something right now?
Yeah. No, we're in the midst of writing the scripts for the 3rd season of Throwing Shade, our hilarious 1930s Chicago parody of The Shadow.
Whoa.
Which is seasons 1 and 2, and a lot of extras are already up on all the major podcast sites. Check it out.
After you listen to this.
After you listen to this, of course.
After you listen to this fine podcast.
That's right. Then you can check out Eclectic Full Contact Theater's Throwing Shade.
Or if you want to listen to Andrew Pond, you can catch him on my other podcast, Are Your Parents Proud of You?
No,
Which I haven't been invited to.
You know what?
We're working on it.
You have been doing so well.
And I have such a good story.
You've been doing
when we do the
so
new
well.
season.
Yes.
You keep saying that.
No, it'll be all right.
You know what's funny? We just had a podcast meeting before this one, so
buddy,
we're working on it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, one of the things I've been doing on top of everything else is learning about software that will allow you to have multiple people basically call in and record from multiple locations remotely.
Nice.
So that I could have 6 actors basically on this particular software doing the podcast, and then I can just take it and edit it as I normally would, and we don't have to be in the same room, because who knows when that's going to be possible.
Happen, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before we go,
okay.
So I think, Andrew, you know this game. I think you should have a little bit of a rematch, and I think Jessica should go first for this game. It's called Time for Two. 2 minutes on the clock.
Great. All
All the best icebreaker questions in the world.
Okay.
You're gonna be so good. I think that's just my opinion.
Okay.
Oh,
She's on.
Yeah, I have to find it first. Hold on.
Okay.
He'll fix this in post.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, are you ready?
Sure.
All right, Jessica, you are going first. So
Great.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Favorite TV show?
Monk.
What makes someone a hero?
Kindness.
Things you buy most often at a grocery store?
Apples.
Dogs or cats?
Cats.
Fruits or veggies?
Fruits.
Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix.
Are you cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs?
Yes.
What would you do for a Klondike bar?
Quack like a duck.
What Disney film best describes your life?
Beauty and the Beast.
Thanks, buddy.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Yes.
Do you believe in magic?
Yes.
If you had the chance to change your fate, would you?
Yes.
What is your name?
Jessica Lauren Fisher.
What is your quest?
I seek happiness.
What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
I have no idea.
Nice. Is the floor lava?
What?
Is the floor lava?
No.
Did you suck your thumb as a child?
Yes.
Can you beatbox?
No.
Are you afraid of Virginia Woolf?
Yes.
Eminem the rapper or M&M's the candy?
Candy.
Fruit salad or hot potato?
Fruit salad.
Emoji of choice.
Smiley face.
Do you collect anything?
Cats. No.
Dear God, no!
That's my sister.
No!
Oh, is your refrigerator running?
Yes.
How do you like your eggs?
Scrambled.
What fashion trend should be brought back?
50s dresses with the poofies.
Ron Burgundy or Ron Swanson?
Burgundy.
There we go! All right, Andrew.
That was tough.
Isn't it great?
It's very fun.
Whew.
All right.
All right, let's see if you can do this again. Are you ready?
Sure.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Have you ever kicked down a door?
No.
Do you know how to tie a bow tie?
No.
Do you make your bed every day?
No. I bought it that way.
Do you wash your hands after going to the bathroom every time?
Yes.
You better. Ever been kicked out of a bar?
No.
Beer or wine?
Beer.
Uncle Joey or Uncle Jesse?
Uncle Jesse.
Yeah.
Have mercy.
Bruce Wayne or Batman?
Batman.
What do you like to have in order to get over a hangover?
A drink.
Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color?
Purple.
Earth, Wind, or Fire?
All three of them in September.
What is your favorite smell?
Coffee, actually.
Ted Danson, your thoughts?
Doesn't get enough respect, damn it.
There you go. CVS or Walgreens?
CVS is in walking distance.
Okay. Hippies or hipsters?
Hippies.
Is it a beautiful day in a neighborhood?
How the hell would I know? I can't go outside.
There you go. You ever been to abandoned buildings?
No.
Do you Yahoo?
I do. And
Favorite celebrity Chris?
Favorite celebrity Chris?
Yeah.
Rock.
Do you match your socks?
Yes.
Does Miss Piggy love Kermit?
Yes, she does.
Okay, sure.
Burt Reynolds or Turd Ferguson?
Burt Reynolds.
Yes!
Ferguson.
I always got to end on that question.
I love that.
Well,
Excellent.
Andrew Pond, Jessica Fisher, I can't imagine a fake mom and dad I want to talk with right now in the middle of a pandemic.
Can't imagine a fake son. Well, we have another fake son too, but a fake oldest son.
I was going to say the other fake son never calls.
He doesn't.
He doesn't.
We don't
doesn't
even know
write.
how he's doing.
I'm still upset. I'm still upset that after we married her off, I haven't heard from our daughter.
Oh, I can't thank you guys enough for taking some time to come on the show.
Fun.
Thanks for having us. We love you, fake son.
Hey everyone, thanks again for listening to the penultimate episode of You Have a Minute, a daily isolated podcast. My thanks to Jessica Fisher and Andrew Pond, like we said, my fake mom and dad, for coming on the show and chatting up with me. And they're so fun together. Yeah, that was, I think, the hardest I laughed during this entire run of the show. Yeah, they're great people, and they were awesome to work with on Fire of the Bride. So I can't thank them enough for joining me on this episode. So, one more episode left. I can't believe it. I'm so excited. I can't thank you enough for this past few months being there and listening to the show. And I can't wait to end it on top. So, wear a mask, wear gloves if needed, wash your hands, socially distant apart, and we'll get through this. I'll see you guys soon.